Hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel USA Immigration and Visa. Today we are going to discuss F1 student port of entry process in US. Let's start the video. As an international student embarking on your academic journey in the United States, your first encounter with the US immigration system will be at the port of entry. Understanding the F1 port of entry process is crucial to ensure a smooth transition into your new life as a student. In this video, we'll walk you through everything you need to know about the F1 port of entry, including the required documents, the inspection process, and helpful tips for a successful entry. What is a port of entry? A port of entry is an official border crossing point where U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, officers inspect travelers entering the United States. Ports of entry can be land border crossings, airports, or seaports. As an F1 student, you will likely enter the U.S. through an airport port of entry. Required documents for F1 port of entry. When you land in the U.S., you'll need to show some important papers to a customs officer to make things go smoothly. Here's a quick list. 1. Your passport with the F1 visa stamp. It's your main travel document, and the stamp shows that you're good to enter the U.S. as a student. 2. Form I-20. Certificate of Eligibility for Non-Immigrant Student Status, from your school. Both you and your school official need to sign it to prove you're enrolled and eligible to study. 3. Proof that you've got enough money to support yourself during your studies. This could be bank statements or letters from scholarship providers. 4. Proof that you've paid the SEVIS I-901 fee. All students from other countries need to pay this before coming to the U.S. 5. An admission letter from your school. 6. Contact details for your school's DSO. It's a good idea to have this in case the customs officer has any questions about your study plans. Keep these documents handy in your carry-on luggage because you'll need to show them to the officer when you arrive. Having everything in order will help make your entry into the U.S. easy. The F1 port of entry inspection process. When you land at the port of entry in the U.S. as an F1 visa holder, you're on the final stretch of beginning your educational journey. The immigration inspection area is where you'll complete the last official steps. Here's a straightforward breakdown of what this process looks like. Document presentation. The first order of business is to present your passport, F1 visa, and Form I-20 to a CBP officer. These documents are essential as they verify your identity and your authorization to enter the U.S. as a student. Questions from the CBP officer. Next, the officer will scan your documents and ask you a series of questions. These questions typically revolve around your purpose for traveling to the U.S., the school you will be attending, and how long you plan to stay. The key here is to answer these questions with clarity and honesty. You may also be asked to provide more details about your academic plans and how you intend to financially support yourself during your stay. Biometric procedures. As part of the inspection process, the officer may take your fingerprints and photograph. This is a standard procedure for many travelers entering the U.S. and helps to verify your identity. Approval and entry stamp. If the officer is satisfied with your documentation and answers, you'll be approved for entry. Your passport will then be stamped with the date of entry, the port of entry name, and the notation F1/D/S, which stands for duration of status. This stamp is your proof of lawful admission into the United States under student status, indicating that you're allowed to stay for the duration of your academic program, including any grace periods for practical training or preparation to depart the U.S. Secondary inspection. In some cases, the CBP officer may refer you to secondary inspection for additional questioning or document review. Don't panic if this happens, it's a routine procedure and doesn't necessarily mean there's a problem with your entry. During secondary inspection, you may be asked more detailed questions about your background, academic plans, and financial situation. Remain calm, cooperate with the officers, and provide the requested information to the best of your ability. F1 visa port of entry questions and answers. When an F1 visa holder arrives at a U.S. port of entry, they will likely face a series of questions from the Customs and Border Protection, CBP, officers. The purpose of these questions is to verify the traveler's intent, confirm their student status, and ensure they meet the requirements for entry. After the port of entry. After successfully navigating the complexities of the port of entry and stepping onto U.S. soil with your educational journey ahead, it's crucial to undertake several important steps to ensure your transition is as smooth as possible. First and foremost, reaching out to your school's international student office is key. Notifying them of your safe arrival and scheduling any mandatory orientation sessions will help you integrate into your new academic environment more seamlessly. Another critical step is to verify the passport stamp you received at the port of entry. This stamp should accurately reflect your F1 status and the duration of your stay in the United States. It's a small detail that carries significant weight, as it officially denotes your status as an international student. Safeguarding your port of entry documents cannot be overstated. The stamped Form I-20, in particular, is a vital piece of your immigration record. Keeping this and other related documents in a secure place will ensure you have them readily available for any future needs, whether for administrative formalities or identification purposes. Finally, reporting to your school to begin your academic program as scheduled marks the culmination of your pre-arrival efforts and the beginning of your actual educational pursuit. This step is about more than just showing up, it's a commitment to your studies and the realization of your goals in the U.S. Each of these steps, though seemingly straightforward, are foundational to setting yourself up for success in this new chapter of your life. How to handle denial of entry. Being denied entry at a U.S. port of entry can be a disheartening experience for any international student looking forward to studying in the United States. However, it's important to remember that this setback doesn't mark the end of your academic journey in the U.S. Here's a look at the steps you can take and considerations to keep in mind based on insights shared by individuals who have navigated similar challenges. Understanding the basis of denial. Understanding the reason behind the denial is crucial. In the scenario shared, the denial under INA 212(7) I seemed to stem from having paid tuition without being registered for classes, a situation that occurs due to the procedural scheduling of orientation and class registration. This specific case underlines the importance of having all requisite documentation and ensuring that all steps of the enrollment process align with visa regulations. Clarify with your institution. Communication with your educational institution is vital. Confirming your acceptance for the next intake and understanding their process for supporting students in such situations can provide a solid foundation for your next steps. That's all in this video.